The minorities. Let's talk about the minorities. I defended you against Tavis Smiley last week, and I did it because I know you better than Tavis Smiley knows you. I don't even know if you know him.
He doesn't know me at all.
All right, okay.
But Smiley I never met him.
Smiley brought in the fact that you were this racial arsonist. That's what he used. And I said, hey, look, I known the guy for 30 years, and I've never seen any of that, and you got to give me an example. And he really couldn't. But that's the perception in the African-American precincts, that you're a racial guy, you don't like them. Is there a strategy that you have or your staff has to negate that?
Well, I don't think it is the perception, actually, Bill. I have tremendous numbers of African Americans
that
work
say,
for me.
say
I'm going to bring jobs back to the country. I don't think it's the perception at all. I just don't. I think we're going to do fantastic with African Americans
what's your message
and
to
with
them,
Hispanics.
Then? What's your message to African Americans?
My message is I'm going to bring jobs back, Bill.
Jobs.
My message is I'm bringing jobs back to the country, and they're going to have jobs because right now we don't have jobs. China has the jobs. Mexico has the jobs. Japan has the jobs. Everybody has the jobs. We don't have the jobs. The jobs have been taken out of the United States like we're a bunch of babies.
Okay,
like
so it's an economic play. But what about the grievance industry? Run by your friend Al Sharpton, where, you know, not only do you have to bring prosperity to all Americans, not just blacks, but we owe them. We owe the African Americans because of the historical atrocities that they've had to live through, their families, their ancestors. Well, how are you going to deal with that?
Well, I think we're going to do fine. Again, I think that.
But what are you going to tell them when that comes up?
And you're going to start to see it. I'm telling you, it's an economic message. If you look at President Obama, he's been a president for almost 8 years. It will be 8 years. You have with black youth, with African American youth, you have a 59% unemployment. With people of prime age, it's much higher.
But how are you going to get jobs for them? Many of them are ill-educated and have tattoos on their foreheads, and you know, how are you going to? And I hate to be generalized about it, but it's true. If you look at all the educational statistics, how are you going to give jobs to people who aren't qualified for jobs?
We're going to bring jobs back. We're going to have Apple computers made in this country, not just. We're
but
going
you
to
have to have skills to make Apple computers. Yeah, and the educational systems. What?
We will get the skills and we'll develop the skills. We have an incredible population and they don't have the jobs. Our good jobs are going to China. They're going to Mexico every day.
But it's more challenging.
Well, wait a minute. Carrier and Nabisco and Ford and every company you can name, they're building in Mexico. They're not here because we have politicians that don't know what they're doing.
But it's more challenging in the African American industry. Look, when we drive up to Yankee Stadium, we go through Harlem. All right, it's more challenging for a poor child in Harlem without parental guidance in a school that's fallen apart than it is for some white kid out in Garden City. All right, and you say you can bring jobs back, but how, you know, if the kid isn't qualified to do the job and can't do the work, I mean, you got to get into the infrastructure of the African American community. Do you have any plan to do that?
Well, it is true, and it's about education, but it's also about spirit. A lot of people don't have spirit, not only African Americans. They don't have spirit in our country. I mean, I can tell you plenty of white people that go to college, they borrow a lot of money, they get out, they can't get a job. The single biggest question I get are from young kids that are in colleges, because I see them all over, and they want to talk to me. And I say, what is it? And I say, before you even talk, I'll tell you, you borrowed up to the hilt, and now you've graduated, you've done well in college, you can't get a job. They said, Mr. Trump, how did you know? It's a real problem that we have in this country. We don't have jobs anymore. Our manufacturing is going to be gone if we keep it up. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at the recent numbers of manufacturing in the United States. It's going to be gone.
No, it's all going to the service and high tech. Okay. All right, I'm going to hold you over.
We don't have spirit in this country.